Yay! We made it. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday evening. We are at 9:08. We are 8 minutes past what I said. We are going live today with Regina Rossi Lamar for Here For You Coaching. And today is Thinking Thursday. And I am so excited to introduce you to someone who I just met this weekend. And I'm blessed to say that I consider a friend and a mentor, and now my partner in having this amazing conversation, which is, what does a stand mean? So I want to introduce you to my dear friend, Erin. Welcome, Erin.
Thanks, Regina. I'm super excited to be here. I just loved your energy when we met over the weekend, and I'm just really honored to be here and be talking about something that I know you think is really, really important to introduce to your community, which is really, what do you stand for, and how do you want to get that message out into the world? So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait
Cool.
for our conversation. Yeah.
Well, I want to let everybody know a little bit about Erin Newman. I think she has a beautiful bio, so I am honored to read it. Erin is a speaker, an author, and a money mindset mentor. Money mindset mentor. I love it. And a Soul Fire Ignitrix. Is that
Mm-hmm.
it? Love
Yeah.
it. Soul Fire Ignitrix. That was hot when I read that. For women entrepreneurs like me. She helps business owners to overcome mindset blocks to money and income so that they can truly do what lights them up in their business and make the income they desire. Yeah, snap that one out. Through a mixture of mindset and energetic healing tools, Erin helps women to finally vanquish the mind gremlins. I love it because I use the same thing. I use that gremlins all the time. And follow
Right.
their soul purpose and create a new pathway to abundance, success, and joy. So, my community, welcome to my beautiful friend, Erin Newman. That is who she is and what she is about. So, I'm super excited because woman to woman, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, money mindset, huge, huge, huge piece.
And
And
mom to mom, my children are running around outside for some reason. They got
no, this is
inspired
perfect. This is
at
what I
nine
love.
o'clock.
Why I chose Erin, everybody, is bigger than just what I spoke to, but I chose her because my people know that I'm a mother. And so there are entrepreneurs, there are women entrepreneurs, and then what I like to call mamapreneurs, right?
Mhm.
So no matter what we're dealing with, no matter what happens, we've got those distractions of our kids, we still make it happen. And I
Right.
want the community to know it doesn't matter. My daughter's in the bath. I'm clear she's going to come out of the bath, want to sit on my lap. Your kids are going to come in and out, shut the door, all good, right? Because we can literally be everything. But the most important is right now for us to be with each other and really talk about this conversation. So, Erin, you and I met for the first time literally a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's 7 days ago. It's amazing how quickly 7 days has just went.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 days ago in Orlando, first time that Josh and I have been at a live event since before the pandemic.
Wow.
And it's not true. We went to one recent event, but that one, like literally 3 days in an incredible event called Dare to Impact from an incredible, organization called Red Elephant,
Mm-hmm.
which I've personally been participating in for the past 2 years through a couple of their 3 days, a couple of their 1 days, some really cool screw networking events. And then I did a 17-week leadership program with them. So I've not kind of, I've known Aman and Afreen Khan, the owners and creators of Red Elephant, for, Aman and I were just talking about this since 2008.
Wow.
So we
Yeah.
met at another personal growth and development company. They were my mentors and they were my coaches. Um, but Iman texted me today and said it was the first time that we've seen each other in a decade.
Hmm.
So it was really an incredible weekend. So I'm just curious, how did you get to find out about Red Elephant before we grab right into that really cool conversation?
Yeah. So Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm totally blanking on this. You got to circle back to this question. Circle
Right.
back to this question.
Forget about where Erin met and got into Red Elephant. That's mom brain right there for you.
Oh my gosh.
And that's being on the court right now. Because the one thing I'm really committed to inside of my stand, when we get to know what that meaning is that there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no embarrassment, there's no shame. This is life, man. We've got 60,000 thoughts going on in our brain a day. So I asked a question, she's out. So let's start with
I'm out.
I'm out. She'll tag in. We
I will
are
tag you on that question when we come back to
it
it. But
takes a village. It
I
takes
do
a village. Come on, high five. Let's go. It takes a village.
I do want to say how and obviously we're talking about a group that you may or may not know, but they are two coaches who are really stepping out of the normal coaching mode in terms of their business model and what they were bringing to the table and what they were offering to all of us, which was really empowering, and we're going to get into that a little bit more when we talk about our stands. But for me, just watching two coaches who are really, at the $1 million plus level, stand for something bigger than themselves and stand for, hey, we're gonna go away from the normal business model. And I don't know how many 3-day events you guys have ever gone to, but normally at the end of a 3-day event, you are getting pitched a really big program. And they've kind of stepped away from that model and really just said, here's something we're offering, come up to us. We're not going to do this huge 45-minute pitch. We're just going to share it with you guys. And if it's of interest, come up and chat with us about it. And I found that to be so refreshing and so honest and authentic and fun and different. And like I said, empowering, because it really offers you a different way forward. In your own business or for whatever you're trying to do for yourself, right? Just seeing that modeled by somebody else can be really powerful to look at that and say that they're doing it differently. They're doing it their own way. They're doing it the way they want to do it. And for me, that's a huge part of where I stand, which is just empowering women to really go out and follow their dreams and do the things they want to do in a way that feels really good to them. And the more we get to see people doing that, the more we get to see people breaking through those old paradigms and breaking through the old hierarchies and really standing both for themselves, but also for their communities, right? Like you work with moms, really being able to stand up for moms and say, look, it doesn't have to be that way anymore. It doesn't have to be the way that we were raised, right? That we were raised as kids, and it can look totally different, and you can have this new empowered model that happens between you and your children, and it doesn't have to look the way that we were all told of, sit down, be quiet, shut up, do the thing your parents tell you to do. And I feel like we're all exploring that, right? Like we're all exploring in this new time that we're entering into, how do we get to really do what it is that we love and get paid really well for it, and not have it look like the old models anymore, really truly break down all of those old barriers to doing and being and achieving all that we desire in our lives. So I just went off on a tangent then.
No,
Tracy is how I came to Red Elephant. That's the answer. It just came back. It just came back. Yes.
Mom came back when she was empowered and she broke away. Listen, guys, this is on the court. This is live on the court. Bottom line is, again, lots of things in our minds. 60,000 thoughts going on. She's at her in-laws. She's got the kids in the background. She's made a commitment to be here. And a moment, right? How many of us, raise your hand, have those moments where we literally forget in mid-sentence what we're saying, what we're thinking? And so to not go off on a tangent, going what you said is so true, because bottom line is, whoever's listening, and if you can resonate, I want you to come in closer. How many times do you forget something and you feel really bad about it? I know as myself, as a mother, like there's that shame and that guilt, like that making ourselves feel bad and wrong for so many things. From as simple as, I'm here with you, and I have a thought when I finish, and I go into the other room to go get something, and you get into that other room, and then you don't remember. And sometimes it's funny, but when it becomes a pattern, you start to really question yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And with all of that that's going on, a mom, the kids, in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship, finances, all of that, I'm going to assert that there's a time and a point that you literally start crying. It gets
Mm.
so overwhelming. It gets so like, is there something wrong with me? And we have this funny conversation, and I think you probably have heard of this, Erin, right? Your mom yourself, like, mom, mom fog, brain fart, like whatever that is. It is. That's just what it is. It's a moment that consciously, because we have so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
My stand is, like you said, out to radically break that, typical, conversation that's running. You said it perfectly, gremlins. If we take a moment and stop and like listen to that little voice in our head. Yeah, that one. The one that just said to you, what voice in my head? That's the one. And science and research has shown that with the 60,000 thoughts that are going on in our mind, which by the way, we're all wired that way, all
Mm-hmm.
7.8 billion of us guys, all wired that way, that the thoughts in our head, that 90% of them, 90% of them are negative,
Mm.
meaning that we're worrying about what didn't get done, what has to be done, and most of them are from the past. So we wake up in the morning and we're like, what didn't we do yesterday? Da, 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 da. And then what do we have to do today? And I don't know about you, but how many of us are really conscious about all of that that's going on in our head the minute we wake up? So that's the thing that I'm out to, like, kind of have people be moms particularly, to be first, like, aware. Like, kind of like,
Yep.
I got this hair in my head, right? My hair in my eye. First to be aware of, and then to like shift that, because it doesn't have to be that way.
Exactly.
Doesn't
Yep.
have to be that way, right? And you have that same exact thing, working with, mamapreneurs, I'll call them, right? And women, entrepreneurs, to shift that, to radically shift that. But first we have to be aware of it.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's always the first step in any sort of personal development work, is really starting to say to yourself, these thoughts are not me, right? These thoughts are, the thought that I'm having about myself is not me. And I can literally distance myself from it, right? I can say that that thought I just had, whatever it is, isn't a definition of who I am. It's just a thought. And like you said, Regina, so well, and I can shift it, right? I can choose a different thought at any time. If there's a thought that comes up like, oh my gosh, I have so much on my plate today, it's so overwhelming, et cetera, right? Whatever this person is going through when they wake up, there's an alternative thought that you can choose there, literally choose for yourself. And you can say, you know what? I'm cool right now. I'm going to have my coffee right now, right? I
Yeah.
have a few moments to myself right now. And yes, all these things will come at me today. And even in those moments, I can choose how I want to react. I can choose how I want to be. I can choose how I want to show up as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a person. And yeah, I think that's the first step in any sort of self-development work,
Yeah.
right? Is just, here's where I'm going to bring consciousness into what I'm doing, because otherwise, like you said, it just, for moms, for entrepreneurs, for anybody out there, it's just this constant barrage of like thoughts that we feel like we can't control.
Yeah.
And for me, I went through, and, I know many people have gone through similar phases, but I went through some really bad postpartum depression. And I had gone through other periods of pretty bad depression in my life. And that was the time that I really took my emotional and mental well-being into hand and said, I'm going to work on this. Right. And of course, I had been working on it over the years, but that was a point where I really had to stop and say, like, no, for real, for real.
Yeah.
Right. And start to get that set of tools, the beginning of my set of tools in my toolbox
Yep.
of, here's how you change your thoughts. Here's how you look at things differently. Here's how you shift the energy around you so that you don't have to show up that way. And I will honestly tell you that I do not wake up in the morning anymore with an anxious stream of thoughts.
Hmm.
And if I do, I pull out the tools out of my toolkit. Like I use a lot of EFT tapping. I do a lot of, like I said, energy healing work, ancestral healing work. So if I'm in that space where my mind is running and you're not worthy, all the old thoughts come back, the mind gremlins, right? They come back for all of us. When that happens, I know it's time to sit down and take all the time that I need. And my kids are a little bit older, so I have to say that's a little bit helpful now. They're almost 13 and 10. So that's, I can actually have a little bit more space, but I know that means it's time for me to sit down and really do my work of coming back into that space of alignment and coming back into that space of abundance. Like everything is happening with me. I'm co-creating with the universe. I'm creating this level of abundance that I want to see in my life and in my business. So
I love it. I love it. So that's, really just kind of leads us into, let's get right into this, conversation of what I said, what does a stand mean?
mm-hmm.
And for those guys who've been listening and you guys are just joining in, this is Erin and Regina. We're here as two women, as two moms, as two entrepreneurs out to really share and have a conversation from this extraordinary 3-day, I like to call event. And the first time I wouldn't even say conference or like, like she said, it was a conversation. Two incredible coaches took us through a conversation that allowed us, I felt like partnered, we were partnered in this exploration of all of these really cool conversations. And they wrote an incredible book called Stand. And so I really want to ask you, you, I think, articulated it beautifully on your Facebook page. There is your business, what you just shared about what you do for women, what you're out to explore with them, out to radically make, if they choose to work with you, really shift that old mindset, old habits, old ways of being around money and around business and how it all is supposed to be, work full time, 60, 70 hours, grab that paycheck, pray that you put a little into the 401k. And if you're not happy, doesn't matter. You got a job, keep it going.
Right.
30 years in, right?
That old way. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I think what Iman and Afreen really opened up for all of us was, let me speak for myself. What they opened up for me was really coming back to that remembering of why did you start this business in the first place, right? What were you hoping to do in the first place? And they were asking questions around, and these are questions that you can play with too as a mom, like, what makes me so angry out there in the world? What is it that I feel like people just don't understand? And if they did understand, if they got this, then they would be able to do X and Y and Z in their lives, right? Like when I look at the people around me, what do I get so like, oh my gosh, I wish you just knew that you could do this and you were so worthy. And, those kinds of questions you can start to ask yourself, and that helps you define your stand, and I know, Regina, for you, it is all about really empowering moms, so they don't feel that version of like, I can't do this because I'm a mom. And
I don't have time. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And I have 3 kids, 2 kids, I think the thing that you posted, Erin's being really polite, guys. So we're going to get real. Come on, people know me. Let's get real. What was really great about Iman and Ephraim was, like she said, it brought us back to what's our why? Why did we come here? Why did we choose to do this in the first place? And I think what was so refreshing for me, because this is new for me, was like, what pisses you off? So if anybody's out there, if you're going to tell me nothing pisses you off, I'm going to say sorry. Don't believe you. Absolutely do not believe you, because everybody has a complaint about something. But we're
and just be traffic.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, I love you, love her. Right. We're not talking about that kind of pisses you off.
Right.
But
Like
if you're
that
somebody,
deeper pissed off.
yeah, like if you're like in a business, right? Let's hit your why, right? Like why are you there in the first place? Maybe you don't have a business, but you're a mom. And like for me, like it was really like the juice that new like you said, reigniting, like that match that just kind of blew up the flame to say, yes, I want to empower moms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so sick and tired, right? And I'm in those communities and I'm one of them. I'm not committed to be, I'm too tired. I
Yep.
can't do this. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. Like that's what I want to break. That's the thing that pisses me off because it's not true. But we are so ingrained in the old habits that we have been brought up with. And it's not our fault. And we're not blaming anybody. It's just the way our generations of generations have been passed down. And for the first time, I'll be 54, Erin, on Monday.
Mm.
54.
Well, you look amazing.
Thank you. I will take that. I am amazing. And yeah, man, like I know what it's like. I know what it's like to inherit that. My parents were
Mm-hmm.
like hard workers. My dad dropped out of school when he was in sixth grade. He went into the printing business. And I'm really proud of my grandfather because my dad was unhappy. And we used to sneak over to go see his uncle at the butcher shop and really loved that whole business of being a butcher. And my grandfather was like in. And so my father grew up being a butcher and owned his
Mm.
own business. My mom finished high school. She was a secretary, then got into like legal secretary and was considered a paralegal without having a paralegal degree.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved it. And yes, and yes, and everyone knows what I'm laughing about. Anybody read Elephants are listening. And that's what was ingrained in all of us. Now, they
Right.
wanted something better for us. They wanted us to
Right.
go to school and they wanted us to finish high school. And I was the only one who finished college and got a master's degree.
Mm. Yeah.
Now, I don't regret it. I have a license in social work. I'm a 20-year LMSW in New York. I'm here in Florida being a life coach. I'm not an LCSW here. I chose not to do that. But why I say that is it's 10 years ago, this July 7th, that I moved here. And so much of that ingrained, like I had that moment to choose to go and be an LCSW. It's a different licensure or something else. And my mom was alive and I came down here and she was sick and we were taking care of her. And I heard it every day. Well, you went to school, it's 20 years. What do you mean you're thinking about not getting that license? You can do it. You can go back to school. You can go back for those 30 credits. You can take that exam. And I felt it. And at that time,
Mm.
I mean, I'm, going back 12 years ago, guys. So I'm not like, 20. And it wasn't even that I really, in deep down in my heart, like in the deepest of my gut, of my deepest intuition, did not want to do that. Not because I was scared, not because I couldn't do it. I just didn't want to do it. I wanted
Mhm.
something bigger. And I was so grateful for a really dear friend of mine who had just opened up her 9 to 5 business coaching program. And I went against the grain of my mom, like my mom, guys. I love my mom. My mom is amazing. My mom passed away, still amazing. Do you know what that's
Mhm.
like? Inside of the 3 day, we talked about you might have these naysayers. How many of them might be your own people that you love more than anything? But I did it. I did it. My brother paved the path for us. He passed away too. And she knew it. She was like, you're being a rebel like your brother. And I was like, yep. But at
Well,
the
I
end
think,
of the day,
yeah. I mean, no matter what kind of family you came from, we all have certain beliefs, right? Because our parents were trying to keep us safe, our parents were trying to keep us protected, or our families of origin. And so, even if you had this amazing childhood with your parents being super
yep,
supportive, which let's be honest is really not the case for most of us, but like let's say that even that, you're still going to be raised with this culture and this society that says you have to work really, really hard in order to do what you want, right? And so that usually translates to most of us as you can't do what you love, right? As a business, as a career, as a vocational path, right? Or if you are doing what you love, you have to make it really hard on yourself. And so you create all these things and structures and obstacles for yourself, even like, as you said, Regina, the things in your own head. So that is the path for anybody who wants to move along the page of, enlightenment or self-discovery. And it is letting go of those old beliefs over and over and over again. And we all have them. We all have our own version of that. And so, even if you get to a certain place in your life or in your business, you're going to come up against more of them or more of the same of them, and continually be unraveling them, right? Continually be working with those little mind gremlins that are telling you, stay safe, stay in the tribe, stay in this little comfortable bubble instead of expanding and growing and moving into the things that really light up your soul, right? Because those were not known, to the vast majority of us. That was not safe. That was not allowed, right? And so our brain, our subconscious is still trying to keep us safe. It's still trying to keep us in the herd, in the tribe, right? Be comfortable, be right here, instead of grow, expand, become the next bigger version of yourself, or really, really just step into that because you already are that. So,
Yeah, I love that. It just brought up one of my, my coach turned around and said something to me, which really stick to me. So we have like that ego, right? We have an ego that is developed. It's part of the way we've all been developed to keep us safe. And she said something really powerful. She's like, the ego doesn't know, like I'm making the ego like a thing, right? It's our brain. Our brain doesn't know the difference between real fear and fake fear. And I was like, like to share more about that. And she's like, listen, real fear. You're like taking a hike. A bear comes face to face with you, twice your size, height wise, and 3 times your weight size, fangs out, claws at you. How would you feel?
right.
Okay. Mom turns around and goes, what do you mean you're not going back to social work school? Yep. What do you mean you're not whatever?
Right. Your nervous system is still getting activated in the same ways.
So It doesn't know. It doesn't know if it's a bear or like, I'm now taking this leap and going to go get this coach and go create something that I don't even know what I want to do in a business yet. All that, nervousness, like you said, all of that, like the doubt, all of that, scary part, but you do it anyway, right? So it doesn't know. And I think a lot of people have a hard time distinguishing that difference because I'm clear. Money is a big thing still for me. So Erin and I are going to be setting up a separate call. So we'll be having a huge conversation. Listen, it's, like I'm real. At the end of the day,
it's huge for everybody.
Everybody's got something. Money's still that sort of, I'm clear. I need some energetic clearing around that. And so why not be with a person who I totally adore and I feel safe and sacred around, so that's that kind of thing, right? Like that's that kind of when you open up your bank account, right, guys? You open up your bank account, bills due, and you're like, I got 120, it's due 250. That's kind of scary, right? It's not the bear. Like it really isn't the bear. You just don't have the money, and our brain shuts us down, so we can't even think of what action to take.
Exactly.
Right.
I love that you said that. I love that you said that, right? Because when you're in that expansive mode, when you're in that feeling of like, look, I am safe. I'm in a space of abundance. I'm in a space where I really have no limits, right? Like none of us have any limits on what we can actually earn in terms of our income, right? Like we think we do. Oh, this is what the market will bear. This is what I'm allowed to be paid for this, right? In every industry you're in, there's always this like, well, this is kind of what the market pays, right?
Yep.
But actually, truly, it's unlimited because in every industry, there is somebody out there right now charging more than you are.
Yes.
Like, absolutely, right? And I want to be the most expensive Like, I want to be, the most expensive coach, right? I'm not, but, I want to get there. And so no matter where you are, there's someone who's charging more, which is actually really cool because it starts to help expand your capacity for what you can receive, because you see somebody else doing it and you're like, yeah, okay, cool. I can expand into that space. And it is from there. So like Regina, you were just saying, like your brain shuts down. You can't even think of an action to take.
Yep.
In the opposite mode, when your brain is in that expansive, like, oh my God, everything is amazing, everything is light. And I'm not saying you have to stay there all the time, because we don't as humans, but when you are in that space, that's when it's really cool to download your actions, right? To just really be like, okay, universe, God, source, show me what I'm supposed to be doing next. I'm in this cool space. I just did 15 minutes of meditation. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling abundant. Show me what I need to do. And
Yep.
that's when you get that idea of like, oh, reach out to Sally from last week because she said she was interested in your stuff, or, reach out to Bob because he said he could put you on a podcast, or reach out to Sue. And I don't even know why I'm reaching out to Sue, but we just had this cool connection. And it turns out like, whatever, she can put you in her Facebook group or whatever, you never know. But helping yourself to get into that feeling better state is what's going to create those really cool actions, right? It's going to create those cool inspirations, those cool ideas, those cool opportunities opening up for you. And yes, I know that this sounds all really woo-woo and whatever, but it's also being proven by science over and over. Like when I am in this better thinking state, better things happen for me, like the universe truly does expand. And so even if you're looking at your bank account and you're like, shit, I need $150 more, right? Nothing productive is going to come from you stressing and worrying about it. And instead, like, what if you just took 15 minutes to just be like, okay, and I know moms with little people around, little kids around, this is a lot harder, but what if you just took 10 minutes to yourself and you went in a closet and put on your headphones and listened to some great music and you were like, oh, I'm in this cool space now. Okay, I've got all these ideas popping. Not woo-woo at all. Okay, great. It is also really, really well researched at this point too. So when I get in that state, right? When you get in that state, that's where your space of inspiration, flow, ideas, connection, community. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Yes, yes, right?
As man, as woman.
Woman. Yeah. It's all
It just hit me like, so, it's just one of those things where I want to go back to like, getting kind of clear, guys. We're at like, I think we started a little late. No, we started late. So we've got 30 minutes in, or 20, whatever it is, minutes in. So what pisses me off, right? So that's like a part of the stand. So when you said, hey, moms with little people, like I'm one of those moms with little people. And I'm telling you, my clients will tell you, I will tell you, my friends will tell you, bullshit that you can't get a couple of minutes to yourself. The thing that sabotages us is that we want to like literally, like there's some guilt and shame behind that whole thing about having the dishes in the sink.
Yes.
Like, oh, if I let my kid cry,
Yes.
like those two. Now, mind you, listen, it's annoying to hear your kids cry. It definitely grates on your brain. I get it. But at the same exact time, over and over again, whenever I've worked with people where they're now at that place where the daughter's crying, right? You throw the little, something to rattle. They're still crying because they're still in the bathroom, making sure everything's good. To take that moment, you can take 30 seconds. You can take 1 minute. I'm clear. Both Erin and I can help you even take more and more time. I'm one of those, like, that's my stand, to create unnegotiable time for yourself, no matter what you're dealing with. And you don't have to suffer. There, guys, that's what pisses me off. That is my stand.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Boom. Erin,
Yes.
thank you. Boom. So give me yours. Felt it.
A great callback, as somebody in comedy would tell you. Yeah. So mine is really to empower all women everywhere to follow their soul, to go after their dreams, to recognize their inherent enoughness so that they can go out there and do whatever it is that they want to do in their lives.
Yes.
And I work, like I said, mostly with entrepreneurs at this point, but it is really part of my bigger mission. And so I do some books and some other types of things that really.
You notice how like little she just, and by the way, I do some other things, some books. Come on, Erin, don't you dare. I'm holding you. I want to hear what pisses you off. Tell me, Erin, what pisses you off, and let people know how they're available.
Well, I think, for all of us, our stand comes from our story. Our stand comes from the way we were raised and something that we are probably fighting against now. And so for me, that was growing up and hearing the message. And again, there's no blame here.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's a teeny bit, but I hope I've worked through most of it in some really
Not
good therapy.
at this moment.
Yeah, but growing up and hearing the message, hearing it both explicitly and implicitly that you can't make money doing what you love, right? And most of us grew up with this. Most of us grew up with this because we are in this, whatever you want to call it, Protestant work ethic kind of culture, especially here in the US, of like, you got to work hard, like we were talking about before. So I definitely grew up with the message of you can't make money doing what you love. So you better go do all the things, right? I went to the good school. I got the good job, blah, 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 corporate job, right? I did all the steps. I got all the check marks. And like many people, I figured out this is not making me happy. This is not where I want to be. This is not where my energy is. And and so I've been fighting that ever since, right? Making a stand for people that, yes, you get to go out and do what you effing want to do. I'm going to not say it because I know you have lots of moms. I was never told I could make money doing what I love. Yeah, I think most people are not, right? Like that's a rare gift. And, and I know that even though I am continually preaching that message, my kids still get some of the other messaging, right? They still hear it. They still see it. It's in our culture. It's in our water. Yeah. And so we have to work really hard if we want to model something else. And so that's my stand is I don't want that for you. I want you to go out and make money doing what you love, doing really what lights up your soul, and still have a great abundant life, right? Like, I mean, I think all of us can name all of these people that we know that are pouring their heart and soul into their mission and, aren't able to afford a vacation. So I think it has to be both and in both, right? Like it gets to be both. You get to do what you really, really want to do and have a really abundant life, whatever that means for you.
Exactly. So I'm going to Regina's way of like having Erin's stand in the pissed off way. Erin is pissed off when she hears people can't do what they want to do in life because they think they can't make money.
Yes.
Yes, starving artists, I'm talking to you. Yes, oh, starving actors, I'm talking to you. Yes, oh, social workers, I'm talking to you. Yes, oh, butchers. Yes, I mean, come on. Let's just go down the line. You do not need to at all do anything that makes you unhappy. We are out to radically shift that mindset and empower you to live the life that you not just desire, you deserve. It's your born birthright. Do you guys got that? Oh my God. I'm like, who am I? Like, Aman, this is what I'm talking about. This is what he's waiting for. That's really what we're here for, guys. And God, Erin, you get me so fired up.
That was such a beautiful summary. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, I think for me, those words pissed off are hard. Like they're hard to get to now. And so I love the passion that you just kind of underline that with and showcase that with, because it's really important and really necessary. We need that fuel. We need that fire that's coming from you. And I love it. It's exciting. So
I'll leave you with like a really guys. Yes, I thank you, Erin, for saying I'm passionate. I super am passionate. My friends call me party out of the box, right? Because for a long time when you were a kid, she's like, she's a party in a box. And as we grew up together and we have been on this journey of transformational work, personally and professionally, I'm party out of the box. I have the out of the box thinking, and I'm about to shift that out of the box thinking as like
That's the normal.
Like I don't even know normal, because I don't know, that word is like, normal. What's normal, right? Like as if we're breathing, right? We need air, right? As we blink, our body needs water, needs nourishment, like have that be what that is. And so it's funny because if my husband's watching or if he listens and you heard me say, I'm like, I'm pissed off all the time. So I created balance, peace, and ease. But it was really fun to be able, I really appreciate, in all, like from my heart, I appreciate how you have noticed the pissed off is really my passion. Like when it's really coming from the place of passion and love and forgiveness and consistency. Because listen, guys, what Erin and I've been talking about, this isn't like, if don't call us for a one like call fix thing. Like that's not what this is about. She spent her life, I've spent my life, we're on this lifelong learning journey together. We met at a 3-day course. It's not like she hasn't done courses before and I haven't done courses before. We're committed to continue to dive deep together, to give each other resources, to feed off of each other, to learn from each other's knowledges, and to really realize that, guess what? We're not alone. No matter 7-figure business to a brand new, negative business, we all have those same fears. We all have those ingrained, inherited conversations that pop up. And so we're here to support one another. And that's really, the point of why I'm having this conversation with you guys, with her. Here for you, connections and resources. Sure. You hear anything that resonates with Erin, anything that resonates with me, please, we'll give you our information. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you and connect. But we're here for you. That's why I created that company, to provide you some resources. Have you think about something. It's Thinking Thursday, right? Then kind of ponder with that a little bit. I dare you to bring that to other people in your life. Don't keep it to yourself, right? You got something today. Okay, you want to feel safe? Feel free to reach out to Erin and I. If you're somebody from the herd, it's a really cool, sacred, fun place. Reach out to them. But I dare you to get uncomfortable. Because my coach said to me today, when you're comfortable, you're limiting yourself. Right? You're comfortable. You're not in what Erin's saying, that expansive stage. And how many of us are comfortable? I'm comfortable right now. I mean, I'm really comfortable hanging out. But this isn't going to be my first conversation. I'm committed to keep on having this conversation. And Erin's a really great way to start. But I'm clear someone's going to push back at me. Right? And we learned that weekend was the naysayers or the pushbackers want to have that opportunity to sit in the same room with you. Because I'm open and she's open to hear something. We are not sitting here saying we know it all. We far from know it all. But what we love to see in the world is where different people's opinions and perspectives and resources can be sat down and listened to, and then real change and real impact occurs.
Love it.
Awesome. Somebody, I'm looking at people need it to leasing to these. I don't know what that means, but I'm just kind of reading it. So we're going to end this because we're at, I think, 9:52. So I think we're 45 minutes. I would like to have you guys again get to know Erin Newman. Erin, say who you are, what you do, and leave us with, whatever Thinking Thursday question or amazing insight you want to say.
Sure. Yeah. You guys can always find me at erinnewman.com. That's my website. And then he or she said needed to hear that. Yay. And then I have a Facebook group for spiritual women entrepreneurs. It's called the Spiritual Women Entrepreneurs Collective. So you can just search that up on Facebook. Hopefully it'll come up right away. And yeah, I would love for you guys to join us in there if that feels aligned for you. And yeah, the thing I wanted to leave you guys with is just, it's really actually an exercise. And I don't know who came up with it. I'm sure I should attribute this to somebody, but just, I'm
We're
sure.
attributing it to whoever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, whoever it is, thank you. But it's basically the 7 whys. And
Hmm.
it's a really helpful exercise to come up with your own stand. You know, if you're thinking of starting a business, if you're thinking of doing something outside the norm, you can just keep asking yourself why. And you will know when you've got to the core, when it feels like really goosebumpy, really probably makes you cry a little bit, probably makes you tear up a little bit. That's how you know what your why is. That's how you know what your mission is. That thing, like Regina was saying, that really pisses you off. It makes you sad. It's like, this is why I do this, is because I want everybody to know blank, right? And again, it probably comes back to your own story. So you can just keep asking yourself, write it down and then ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Why do I want that to be true? And keep going, 7 whys, until you get to that point of like, yeah, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do this big work in the world.
Yes, I remember that. I definitely do remember that. That one, I kept on saying every time it made me uncomfortable, right? I get, so here's guys, like vulnerable, straight up, so you can hold me accountable to this. When I get sweaty, and Erin's heard me this, like I know that's the thing that I
Mm.
need to dive deeper to. When my eye twitches, I'm literally resisting something and something is not aligned to me.
Good.
It's like a lie. I mean, I do have allergies, but like I'm just saying, like,
That's a good,
so
that's
like
a good
when I'm
sign.
in, yeah, when I'm in that deep conversation and we're looking at that why, limiting beliefs for those people who know, that's like the thing that like we say, is true. Like, no, I grew up, but there's a black cloud over, our family. And so you grow up
Mm.
saying that, all these bad things happen. And then all these bad things, like she says, energetically align. And it's true, but it's not. It's a limiting belief. It's just energetically that has been what's been passed down. And until I get to really be aware of that and I'm conscious of that and then do some work around that, that then becomes, a story that I can rewrite. I love what Erin said. Listen, guys, we're the author, writer,
Director.
director, creator, and my favorite part, my favorite part out of them all is we are the person who stars in it. Woo! So like, let's do it the way we want to do it. Rewrite that story, man. Rewrite it.
Mm.
I'm
Yep.
gonna make sure that Erin's information is, I'll update the Facebook with her way to contact her. Facebook, she'll send me in Messenger how to like, jump onto her Facebook group.
Mhm.
um, Listen, guys, feel free, give us topics. I'm just want to say thank you, Erin, for really lighting me up. I really acknowledge you for being that catalyst in my life after a 3 day. And
Mm.
I'm just so grateful that you said yes to my Facebook, and there it was. I'm clear that I like called you in, right? Because we all know how Facebook works. And so it was just a beautiful, aligned conversation. And I got to know you and get to play with you. And I feel really
Mm.
trusted around you and sacred. It was just a really fun time.
Same
And
here.
we'll even put in about Red Elephant as well. It's all their stuff that they do to join is either free or like so minimal. It's worth it. You guys are worth it. So, on behalf of Regina and my beautiful friend Erin, and for Here For You Coaching and Here For You Connection Resources, we wish you a fabulous night. Go out there, go think about what's going on, start questioning why, 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 and go write your story and live it the way you want to live it.
Awesome.
All right, guys, we'll see you soon. I'll see you next week. Bye, Erin. We'll talk soon.
Bye.